What's going on, guys? It's Lars here, Sidewall Jedi. We're here today to talk about how to properly break in your pocket. Now, you see here, I have two of the brand new Stallion Omegas strung up, both double inside, same exact pattern on each. But you'll notice this one the pocket is a lot different than this one. This one's a little bit deeper. The pocket comes up a little bit higher. Whereas this one you see right here, everything's a lot tighter. I'm gonna show you what it is that I do that gets you to go from here to here. One of the biggest things you need to pay attention to when breaking in your pocket is stretching out the mesh. Now, this isn't something you can just do with your hands. You've gotta be able to, you've gotta find a way to stretch every single hole of mesh. You're not just doing one, you're not just trying to pound one little area where you think you want the ball to sit. You need to stretch every hole all the way up and down. The best way that I've found to break in your pocket is to use a baseball bat. Now, this is the single greatest use of a baseball bat I've ever heard of. So I'm trying to use this bat and I'm gonna try and pound this pocket as much as I can. That's how we go from here to here. Using a baseball bat to pound the pocket dramatically speeds up the break-in process and getting the mesh where it needs to be. I've talked to hundreds of players, asking them, have you ever used a stick that was, the first day it was strung, it was perfect. And over the course of the next week or 2 weeks, it bagged out, it got wet, it didn't play the same after a couple of weeks. Well, this is what we're trying to alleviate. We want to get to bagged out as close to perfect and broken in before you even put a ball in it. One of the most important things about breaking in your pocket is making sure that before you pound the mesh, you do not, repeat, do not put any shooting strings in there. Because if I put a couple of shooters in there, that's gonna keep that area of the mesh super tight and I'm not gonna be able to stretch it. Effectively, what the bat is doing is acting like the ball, only putting much, much more stress and force on the mesh itself. That's what actually gets it to be broken in and deep. It's the mesh stretching out. If you just use a ball and just shoot or get on the wall and throw, as I said earlier, it just takes more time. We want to skip that step. We want to skip the 1 week or 2 week of 2 weeks of fiddling and adjusting and trying to figure out how to get to perfect. We want to get to perfect in about 2 minutes. And this is how we do it. Typically, the way that I do it is I'll hold the bat in between my knees so I can use both hands to press against the head while I stretch out the pocket. So I'm gonna go north, south, stretching it out this way. I can pound this way, and you can already see it's starting to open up. And I also wanna make sure I'm getting as much of the mesh as possible. I wanna get all these top corners. I'm also gonna flip it, and I'm gonna do the back side of the mesh. I'm never gonna play with the ball in the back of my stick, but I'm doing this because I wanna stretch out the mesh as much as possible on this first time and not have to worry about anything else happening to it over the course of the stick's lifespan. So you can already see, even just like this, I'm putting more stress on the mesh than the ball ever would. And so I'm stretching the mesh out as much as possible. Even to the point where it might be too deep, but then I can pull in on the bottom string that I already have in and get it legal depth-wise. Just as a side note, I've never broken the mesh and I've never broken a head because of hitting it hard, trying to pound the pocket in. So that looks a little bit different than it was before. And right now it's probably a little too deep, so I'm gonna tighten it on the bottom string, pull the pocket in just a little bit. Finished product. What looked like a mid-low pocket before I broke it in turns out to be mid, maybe even close to a little bit of a mid-high pocket. I'm going to eventually put shooters in this, but before I do that, I need to know how it throws. And so one of the most important things that I talk to with my players and anybody that I string sticks for if I can be there with you, I'm gonna make sure that you throw with the pocket with no shooters at all. And the reason why is because I believe the pocket itself that you have created, the pocket shape that you have created, that should do 85 to 90% of all the work on how the stick throws. The shooting strings are the last piece of the puzzle to getting this thing dialed in. That last 10 or 15% is to give you the amount of feel, which is, think of like how you feel the ball come out of the stick when you throw. And for all the offensive guys out there like me, to give yourself a little something extra shooting, because the shooting strings, can help vary release time. So I want the ball to come out a little bit later, throw a little bit lower maybe, because I'm gonna shoot a little bit harder. That's what I wanna try and do that with the shooting strings. But I want to have a stick that throws perfect, like with just all the regular passes I need to throw. That's what I'm looking for in creating a pocket. One of the things that I always say is sidewalls dictate shape. Shape dictates release. Shooters adjust shape and alter release a little bit. So, thank you very much. Appreciate you listening to a little video talking about how to properly break in your pocket. I really hope this helps out a lot of people. I see a lot of young kids that are coming up that are stringing. This is for you. This is for the guys that are just getting used to, just getting into stringing. I want to try and help you be able to get your pockets to broken in and game ready day one, so that you can hand a stick to me, say, hey, this is ready to use right now. It's not gonna change tomorrow, by the end of the week, by next week, or by the end of the month. It's gonna stay consistent. It's gonna be consistent for you throughout the lifespan of the stick. You wanna be able to get to that as quickly as possible.